Section 1.2, about the technology. We'll use two main technologies in this book, Python and GitHub Copilot. Python is the programming language that we'll use, and GitHub Copilot is our AI assistant that will help us work with the Python code. Section 1.2.1, Python, your programming language. As mentioned, Python is a programming language, which is a way to communicate with a computer. People use it to write all kinds of programs that do useful things such as data analysis, games, interactive websites, visualizations, file organization apps, automating routine tasks, and so on. There are other programming languages as well, such as Java, C++, Rust, and many others. Copilot works with those too, but at the time of this writing it works really well with Python. Python code is a lot easier to write compared to many other languages, especially assembly code. Even more importantly, Python is easy to read. After all, we're not going to be the ones writing the Python code. Our AI assistant is. Computers don't know how to read and run Python code. The only thing computers can understand is something called machine code, which looks even more ridiculous than assembly code because it's the binary representation of the assembly code. Yep, just a bunch of zeros and ones. Behind the scenes, your computer takes any Python code that you provide and converts it into machine code before it runs, as shown in Figure 1.1.
Figure 1.1. Your Python program goes through several steps before you see the output on your screen.
So, no one is writing code from scratch in the machine code language of computers anymore. Programmers are all picking the language that's most convenient for their particular task at the time and using software to help them write, run, and debug, that is, fix, the code, called an Integrated Development Environment, IDE. In the book, we'll be using Visual Studio Code, VS Code, as our IDE because it works exceptionally well with GitHub Copilot. Section 1.2.2, GitHub Copilot, your AI assistant. What is an AI assistant? An AI assistant is an AI agent that helps you get work done. Maybe you have an Amazon Alexa device at home or an iPhone with Siri. These are AI assistants. They help you order groceries, be aware of the weather, or determine that, yes, the woman who played Bellatrix in the Harry Potter movies really was in Fight Club. An AI assistant is just a computer program that responds to typical human inputs such as speech and text with human-like answers. Copilot is an AI assistant with a specific job. It converts English into computer programs, along with a whole lot more, as we'll soon see. There are other AI assistants like Copilot, including Amazon Q Developer, Tabnine, and Ghostwriter. We chose Copilot for this book based on a combination of the quality of code that we've been able to produce, stability, it has never crashed for us, and our own personal preferences. We encourage you to also check out other tools when you feel comfortable doing so. Section 1.2.3, How Copilot Works Behind the Scenes, in 30 seconds. You can think of Copilot as a layer between you and the computer program you're writing. Instead of writing the Python directly, you simply describe the program you want in words. This is called a prompt, and Copilot generates the program for you. The brain behind Copilot is a fancy computer program called a large language model, LLM. An LLM stores information about relationships between words, including which words make sense in certain contexts, and uses this to predict the best sequence of words to respond to a prompt. Imagine that we asked you what the next word should be in this sentence. The person opened the blank space. There are many words that you could fill in here, like door, box, or conversation. But there are also many words that wouldn't fit here, like the, it, or open. An LLM takes into account the current context of words to produce the next word, and it keeps doing this until it has completed the task. It does this in a way that is non-deterministic, which just means that its decisions are somewhat random, meaning if you ask it to fill in that word, sometimes it will give you the word door, and sometimes it will give you the word box. This means that if you ask Copilot to give you code, it may give you different answers each time you ask. In addition, notice that we didn't say anything about Copilot having an understanding of what it's doing. It just uses the current context to keep writing code. Keep this in mind throughout your journey. Only we know whether the code that's generated does what we intended it to do. Very often it does, but you should always exercise healthy skepticism regardless. Figure 1.2 gives you an idea of how Copilot goes from prompt to program.
Figure 1.2. Going from prompt to program with Copilot.
You might wonder why Copilot writes Python code for us and not machine code directly. Isn't Python an expendable intermediate step now? Well, no. And the reason is that Copilot is going to make mistakes. And if it's going to make mistakes that we need to fix, it's a lot easier to do that with Python than with machine code. In fact, virtually no one checks if the machine code produced from Python is correct. This is partially because of the determinism of the Python language specification. One could imagine a future where Copilot conversations are so accurate that inspecting the Python is unnecessary, but we're a long way from that.